Welcome to Jobbed Out, the wrestling editorial that reminds you that we need the Slammies back. Not the crappy bra version, the Pettingill one.
No, people wanna know what the heck is up with Vader.
It's Oscar season! At the time of this recording, the 92nd Annual Academy Awards are actually tonight. The highest rated TV show all year that isn't football or the news. And personally, I've never cared for the Academy Awards. I mean, if I think a movie is good, I don't need a Sunday night awards show to verify my opinion. Hell, when I was a kid, what I needed was for my Sunday evening programming not to be preempted by a bunch of people in tuxes thanking God, their parents, and the Academy for deciding their art flick was better than the one that made $100 million in the box office. Sadly, as an adult, I get it now. Because getting nominated for an award, being told you're one of the best, that's a pretty damn good feeling. Hell, I've been nominated for 3 Wrestling Radio Awards. I've never won, but being on the shortlist's always been a pretty awesome bragging point for me, so I get it. Now, I could have talked about the Slammies, but they're no Oscars. And granted, wrestlers do have a tendency to appear in straight-to-video schlock or in popcorn movies. There are a few who've appeared in roles for films that were Oscar-worthy. Whether they themselves had a breakthrough role and scored the nominations, or they were just part of the bigger picture. So, here we go. Here's Freaks 5 Wrestlers who were in Oscar-nominated movies. Number 5. John Cena, Ferdinand. Cena is actually the only one of the people on this list to star in the movie he was nominated for. As Ferdinand the Bull scored his nomination for Best Animated Feature in 2018. Now, I almost put The Rock in this spot instead because, well, duh. But while The Rock has been in many more movies, the only Oscar nomination he got was for Moana. Also Best Animated Feature, by the way. I decided against the obvious to tell you that The Rock's also won a major film award of his own. A Razzie for Baywatch. Also, the guy was in Doom, so let's not praise The Rock here. Number 4. Shad Brooklyn. Talk about a step up from Crime Time. Hell, this is a step up from Moana. Shad is the only one on this list who is up for Best Freaking Picture. Sadly, Shad was also never going to see a trophy for Black Panther, as Shad himself was a stunt performer for several action scenes in the film and went uncredited. People probably wouldn't have ever believed he was in it if not for a pair of Instagram videos showing off some choreography at stunt rehearsal. Number 3. George the Animal Steele. That's right. The wrestler who was incapable of speech and chewed on turnbuckles not only was a part of an Oscar-nominated film, he's also got Shad Gaspard beat because Ed Wood won both the categories it was nominated in. Although neither of the awards had to do with Steele himself. Ed Wood won Best Supporting Actor, but not for Steele, and Best Makeup, though Steele himself needed very little. Still, how cool was that? Also, putting the animal in this video means I get to put Johnny Depp in the tags, so I've got that going for me. Number 2. Batista.
No, you suck, man!
Speaking of an animal, Batista hits this list twice. Once for Guardians of the Galaxy, being nominated for 2 awards and winning none, and once for Blade Runner 2049, which actually fared better. The Academy is weird, isn't it? Batista played Sapper Morton in Blade Runner, working alongside Ryan Gosling and Harrison Ford. The film actually won 2 Oscars for visual effects and cinematography, which means it got Guardians beat, while taking nominations for 3 others including sound editing, mixing, and production design. Sorry, Marvel fans, the Oscars have never been about the summer blockbuster popcorn flicks. Maybe that'll change because it's something viewers have argued about for decades now. Now, before I get to number 1, I do have some honorable mentions. Some failed nominees in the list of failed nominees, I guess. A film I absolutely adored as somebody who for a short time worked in a couple small indies, had a lot of wrestlers in it and needs some love. The Wrestler. This film tried to be as authentic as possible to the struggle of the industry, whether you are a struggling upstart in the indies or a legend past his prime. Now, reviews of this film from actual wrestlers were pretty polarized. Some absolutely loved it, and some despised it. But they did try to be as authentic as possible to this industry. They even used talents like R-Truth, Chucky T, Jay Lethal, Cesaro, Robbie E, Necro Butcher, and, of course, Ernest the Cat Miller. The wrestler was nominated for 2 Oscars, but both nominees were actual actors, Mickey Rourke and Marissa Tomei. I guess I should mention Hulk Hogan too. No, don't worry, Mr. Nanny was never gonna win anything, but he did have a role in Rocky III, which was nominated for Best Original Song. Granted, this was before Hulkamania even took off, but since Hogan is a pathological liar and a general piece of garbage human, I'm pretty sure he'll tell you about how he was nominated for Best Supporting Actor before personally requesting the Academy remove him as to not take thunder away from Stallone. Remember, this is the same guy who claims to have shot down the George Foreman grill, says he was slated to become the new bass player for Metallica, and to this day believes he wrestled 400 days in a single year because of international time zones. What an asshole. So, who is the biggest of the big on this list? The one that dwarfed all other wrestlers in Oscar-nominated films. Number 1. Andre the Giant. Ha, I bet you didn't think I was gonna go literal when I said biggest of the big, eh? Andre is one of the few names where he just had as many non-wrestling fans as wrestling fans. Appearing as Fezzik, Andre was a cult hero in the eyes of many moviegoers, the lovable giant, just as he was through his wrestling career. Of all the films on this list, The Princess Bride is still considered by many to be a perfect film. And hell, it's still often quoted to this day.
Are you just fiddling around with me or what?
I just want you to feel you're doing well. I hate for people to die on bad.
No more rhymes now, I mean it!
Anybody want a peanut?
You keep using the word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
It was also nominated for exactly 1 Academy Award, Best Original Song. But when people reminisce about The Princess Bride, odds are pretty good they're thinking about Andre the Giant. So there you have it, my 5 wrestlers who were in Oscar-nominated movies. And Hulk Hogan. And The Rock too. There was also Macho Man as Bonesaw in Spider-Man, but I digress. So I'm gonna open up this question beyond the Oscars. What are your favorite movies of all time that had pro wrestlers in them? Let me know in the comments. For now though, I better get my shoulders off the mat. So thank you for tuning in to Jobbed Out. I'll catch you next time.